Vince Gill is known for his haunting ballad, "Go Rest High on That Mountain," a song that has provided comfort to countless people in their times of grief. With 22 Grammy Awards and an established reputation as one of country music's most revered figures, Vince has earned his place in music history. But behind the success and accolades, Vince's journey is rooted in personal tragedy, deep losses, and moments of self-discovery that profoundly shaped both his music and his character. His story reveals the strength of a man who has faced difficult battles and chosen to express his vulnerability through music. A childhood shattered by tragedy. Vince Gill's life was forever altered at the tender age of 11. Growing up in Norman, Oklahoma, he was surrounded by the love of a supportive family. His father, J. Stanley Gill, a federal judge, encouraged Vince's early love of music, often playing alongside him on a 4-string tenor guitar. However, a devastating phone call would soon shatter their simple, joyful life. Vince's older half-brother, Bob Cohen, had been in a terrible car accident. The accident left Bob in a coma for 3 months, and when he awoke, he was forever changed. Bob, once full of life and energy, was now left with severe brain damage, unable to speak or care for himself. For Vince, this was a loss of the person he admired most, and it left a lasting scar on his soul. Vince witnessed the silent grief of his parents, especially his mother, who struggled to accept a son who was no longer truly there. The burden of unspoken grief. Bob's condition lasted for 25 years until his passing in 1993, the same year Vince released his deeply emotional Christmas album, Let There Be Peace on Earth. The song, It Won't Be the Same This Year, was a reflection of Vince's grief. It captured the aching sense of absence not just in death, but in life itself, a powerful reminder of the way loss transforms people. In interviews, Vince has said, "Every time I sing that song, I see that 11-year-old boy again." The trauma of losing Bob, combined with the silent grief of his family, left Vince with an emotional depth that would eventually define his music. This experience formed the backbone of his tender voice, lending it a sensitivity and emotional resonance that resonated with listeners. Turning down fame for authenticity. By the late 1980s, Vince Gill had become a familiar face in Nashville's music scene. He had played guitar and sung harmonies for Pure Prairie League and released a couple of solo albums, but mainstream success remained elusive. Although critics praised his musicianship and voice, his records didn't chart. At the cusp of a potential breakthrough, a phone call arrived that could have changed everything. Mark Knopfler, the legendary leader of Dire Straits, wanted Vince to join the band. At the time, Dire Straits was riding high on global success. A position with them would mean international fame, arena tours, and the kind of career boost most musicians could only dream of. However, Vince hesitated. He turned down the offer, knowing that once he joined that road, he might never return to his roots. For Vince, the decision was a gamble on his own authenticity. He knew that by staying true to himself, he could write the music that spoke his truth. This difficult choice paid off in the long run when he released When I Call Your Name, a deeply personal album that became a milestone in country music. It earned him his first Grammy and made Vince a household name. Looking back, Vince shared that the decision wasn't just about his career. It was about being true to who he was as an artist. He said, "I'd rather be me at a small club than someone else in a sold-out arena." The romance that defied expectations. In the early 1990s, while filming a Christmas special, Vince met Amy Grant, the queen of Christian pop music. What began as a simple meeting soon turned into a connection neither of them had anticipated. Their chemistry was undeniable, and their collaboration on Amy's album House of Love sparked something that neither of them could ignore. Both Vince and Amy were married at the time, Vince to Janice Oliver, his partner for over a decade, and Amy to Gary Chapman. Despite their growing feelings for one another, both remained committed to their marriages. However, their personal lives were not without challenges. Vince's relationship with Janice had been strained by his demanding career, while Amy was also facing struggles in her marriage. By the late 1990s, both Vince and Amy had gone through difficult separations. In 1997, Vince divorced Janice, and in 1999, Amy followed suit with her own divorce. Their timing led to media scrutiny, with many accusing them of a scandalous romance. However, Vince later clarified, saying that their relationship was rooted in respect and understanding, and that they weren't reckless, just human. In March 2000, Vince and Amy married in an intimate ceremony, embracing their love amid the public eye. For Vince, this relationship was a reflection of his deep devotion and patience, qualities that have remained central to his character. Joining the Eagles, a reverent return to music, Vince Gill's next major musical chapter came in 2016, when the death of Glenn Frey, co-founder of the Eagles, left a void in the band. Vince had long admired the Eagles, and his admiration turned into a profound connection when he was invited to join the band. With Glenn's son, Deacon Frey, already part of the group, Vince stepped in with the intent to honor Glenn's legacy, not replace him. He was welcomed into the band for the Classic West and Classic East shows in 2017, and his first performance with the Eagles at Dodger Stadium was met with overwhelming applause. Vince's rendition of iconic songs like Hotel California and Take It to the Limit earned him respect from fans, proving that his musical contributions could complement, but never replace, Glenn's. Despite some critics calling the Eagles' reformation a tribute act, Vince was undeterred. For him, it was about honoring Glenn and keeping the music alive for fans. As Vince explained, "I understand it, but for me, it's about honoring Glenn, honoring this music, and keeping it alive for people who love it." Facing challenges and deepening love. In 2020, Amy Grant was diagnosed with a congenital heart defect that required open-heart surgery. Vince remained steadfast by her side through the recovery process, showcasing the depth of his love and commitment. However, just 2 years later, Amy suffered a traumatic brain injury after falling off her bike. Vince immediately canceled his concerts, prioritizing Amy's recovery over everything else. Through it all, he remained her constant caregiver and protector, embodying the same quiet strength that defined his music. During this difficult time, Vince's song "When My Amy Prays" became an anthem for their relationship. The song reflected his deep admiration for Amy's faith, resilience, and strength, and served as a reminder of their unbreakable bond. These personal experiences deepened Vince's music, adding layers of vulnerability and authenticity that resonated with fans. Writing new music, a reflection of life's journey. Despite being a veteran in the music industry, Vince Gill shows no signs of slowing down. Now at 67, he continues to write music that speaks to his truth. Vince has said that the songs he's writing today are his best, though they may never top the charts. They are written not for fame, but for healing, reflection, and connection. In songs like Forever Changed and Worlds Apart, Vince addresses pain, love, and personal growth. His music now is deeply reflective, written from a place of observation, not judgment. Vince's journey is a testament to the power of vulnerability and authenticity. He has faced loss, made difficult decisions, and embraced personal challenges with grace and humility. His music continues to touch lives, reminding us that true strength comes from facing life's hardships with an open heart and a willing spirit.